society, as a culture, we love superheroes, right? That's why movies like Spider-Man and Batman are so popular. But the interesting thing about Batman is that he's just a regular man. The difference between him, though, and the people that he saves is that Batman decided to live his life by a code. I don't sleep upside down or anything like that, but I did become the superhero of my own life. And I became a phoenix. A phoenix is about rebirth. It's about rising up from wherever you are to something better. And I had a pile to rise up from. Just like Batman decided to live his life by a code, the code by which I became my own superhero is the Phoenix Code. First, let's establish a baseline. That's what I'm going to share with you today. But first, let's establish a baseline. Imagine with me, imagine a superhero. Whatever the opposite is of what you just imagined is exactly what I felt like waking up with my jaw wired shut. Broken back, bone sticking out of my face, a brain infection that's literally killing me, and I wake up in the hospital after a horrific auto accident. I wake up totally blind. No light, no nothing, just blackness. I finally get out of the hospital, I make it home, I'm recovering at my parents' house, and I'm incredibly depressed, obviously. I'm hugely anxious because I can't stop thinking about what my life could have been, what it should have been, and what it never will be. I'll never forget this night. I'm listening to my mom cooking dinner, and my dad comes around the corner like he always says, chin up, when he sees me. Because I'm so thin, I'm so frail, I can barely even hold myself up. But I don't respond this night because I want it to be over. I just want to die. He sees something's wrong. He knows something's wrong. So he comes over, he sits down next to me, he puts his hand on my knee, and he says, Tanner, what's wrong? What can I do to help? I said, Dad, I'm totally blind. I mean, there's nothing you can do to help. My life is over. My life is meaningless. My life is worthless. He says, Tanner, son, that is not the attitude that you need to have. I know that it's tough for you. I don't understand what it means to be blind, but I do know that you could be blind and you could be in a wheelchair. As a matter of fact, you should be. You could be blind in a wheelchair, and mentally, you should be a vegetable. Tanner, you should be dead. I know it's tough right now, son. It's always going to be tough, but I want you to know that it could always be worse. It could always be worse. This might seem like my dad is just kicking me when I'm down, but it was actually exactly what I needed to hear in that moment. This mindset, this perception, it could always be worse, is the first step. It's the foundation for living by the Phoenix Code. That was when I started to realize I still had my hands and my feet. I can walk, I can talk, I can think, I can articulate and communicate this message, this idea worth sharing. It's interesting to me that I would have to first lose my sight before I'd be able to see myself, recognize who I am, and see the value, the potential that's inside of me. Interestingly, potential it's worthless. I mean, it's absolutely worthless without massive action pushing it. And that is the second step in living by the code. Taking action, massive action. I know that if I'm going to live a life worth living, if I'm going to create something meaningful, it's going to be up to me to achieve it. And so the first thing that I decided to do is to go to school. I don't know how I'm going to do that though, because I literally have no computer skills. I don't know how to use a computer. I don't even know how I'm going to get to class. But I do know that through action, I'll figure it out along the way. After that semester, I decided that it's time for me to start living independently. So I learned how to do that. And soon I signed my first lease on my place. And 15 months after getting out of the hospital, I'm living independently and I'm going to school full time. Taking action. The next year, I decided that I need to do more and I started working. So now I'm working full time, I'm going to school full time. I have actually very little time to do anything. But the one thing that I like to do at the end of my 15-hour day is I like to watch a little stand-up. And I would do that each weeknight by watching the Tonight Show monologue. If everything worked out just right, when I got home from work, I would turn on the TV and it would already be started. But this one night in May, I come home and I turn on the TV. Out of nowhere, the sports broadcaster is on. And I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here? Not one time, not once, has the universe brought me home so that I would see the news. Not one time before, not ever since. It was this one night. The one night where I would catch the news that would feature the one story, where I would hear the one sound that would change my life forever. So when I turn on the TV, the sports broadcaster comes on and he says, "Now here's a team who doesn't let anything come between them and the game they love to play." And that was when I heard, "This looks a lot like a softball." It means so much more than that. This is baseball for the blind. Imagine back in the wake of my accident, I'm recovering back at my parents' house and I'm digging through my closet. I'm looking for something. I don't even remember what it was, but I do remember coming across this piece of leather and instantly I pull it out because curiosity gets the best of me. And I know what it is. It's my old baseball glove. It was like instinctually, I pull it out, I put it on, I catch the ball, I crow up, I throw the guy out at home plate. I make the game-winning play in my head, just like I did thousands of times as a child. At that time, it was a time of reflection for me. It was about coming to terms with the situation in which I find myself. And that is a lifetime, an eternity of total blindness. So I take the glove off, I put it in the closet, and I walk away. And little did I know that just 4 years later, I would hear the sound that would give me back the game I thought I lost forever. Thank you guys so much.